Good afternoon or morning or whatever time you happen to be watching this, and welcome to another episode of Phish and Tips. No fancy backgrounds today, just a quick chat on one of the rather drier but more important topics we see around security, the topic of compliance. What is it? What does it really mean? And who cares and why do they care? So realistically, what compliance is, it's some guidelines, rules, depends on the actual standard, that have been used to help, and we air quote that deliberately, companies be more secure. We don't always see it working out as the most secure approach. Sometimes people are checkboxing their compliance. And there's this big catchphrase that we do tend to talk about a lot. Compliance is not security, but if you're not meeting your compliance standards, then you're definitely not appropriately secure, because part of the security is really helping you enable your business, and compliance is business. It's different, to start with, to a framework, like the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, or CSF, or the CIS Top 20, in that it really is a much more prescriptive set of rules to shape it up, whereas the framework is going to define a broader security program. There's some crossover. NIST 853 is a reg compliance standard that's something more of a framework for federal government and federally associated agencies. And we see different standards in different originating bodies. Some of them are private industry groups. The PCI, Payment Card Industry, DSS, Data Security Standard, is one of those, created by Visa and MasterCard, really, so that their losses would be less by mandating that everybody who does business with them would hold to a standard, or else they lose the ability to process credit cards. It's not a law. It's not a government standard. It's the two biggest payment card processors getting together and saying, you need to do this so our fraud costs go down. HIPAA would be a classic federal government standard. The Healthcare Information and Portability and Accountability Act, it's a legal framework. It's not as prescriptive as PCI, but it does provide some guidance on what we need to be able to do. The High Trust Standard, that is, again, a private industry standard for healthcare, a more prescriptive version designed to map to HIPAA, but just because you meet High Trust doesn't mean you meet HIPAA. And other organizations like SOC 2, again, the Chartered Professionals saying these are the things we need to do to show that you've met an acceptable standard of security. It is, frankly, an enormous alphabet soup. And the standards apply based on geography, New York State and California being the two prime examples here, where the New York Department of Financial Services has a set of regulations that anybody who does business in New York must follow. And California just recently ratified, start of 2020, went into effect theoretically July 2020, the Privacy Act that regulates how companies must handle consumer data and what is privacy a right for somebody who does business in California. We do expect to see other organizations follow that California model, and even that is emulating on the GDPR from the EU, which isn't geographically based, but is based on do you have information on citizens of the European Union? Do you have their data in your databases where they are located? So, non-trivial. It's not easy necessarily for our customers to understand what they do, but it is important for us all to understand this does drive what security decisions people are making. And it's important for us to talk to customers about not really just checkboxing compliance standards, because while you can meet it, what then can happen is, I got the checkbox, something bad happened, they audited what I had done, now I may be liable post facto or after the fact. We're seeing a lot of organizations get fairly sizable GDPR fines. British Airways was the most recent one I saw this morning on some age card stuff, when they thought they had met their guidelines and in fact had been audited to those standards. So, compliance and security, big complicated alphabet soup, but one we need to understand and start to think about. Do they have healthcare information? They're probably HIPAA requirements. Are they processing credit cards? Somehow. There's probably some level of PCI compliance. Are they educational? We're looking at FERPA and COPPA. And do they do business in California or New York? We may be looking at some of those laws there. It's going to apply to most of our customers and most of the people we do business with. So it's a good one to be able to talk about, hey, do you have some compliance requirements? Do you know what they are? And do you need help with making sure you meet them, getting up to speed on them, or really reducing the amount of your business that is subject to compliance so you can do it easier, more efficiently, and at less cost. Hope this was useful. Going to stop, try and beat the 6-minute mark for my 5-minute videos. Thanks everybody for listening, and please let me know if there's any topics you'd like to hear about. Take care everybody. Stay safe. Goodbye.